Like, do we not remember what Sophie Cunningham did last season against the Fever? Like, people are talking about Kate, like obviously Caitlin Clark. Caitlin's going to complain to the referees, but it's always one of those situations where, when it comes to complaining about refs, when it comes to all this stuff, like she's going to pick up. I think she's going to pick up 3 or 4 technical fouls. She's going to punch. She's probably going to saying that over under 2. She's aware the problem is making adjustments. She's got people watching her back, and that's the thing. That is the thing. She has people that will take technical fouls for her. Do you guys not remember last year? She was about to be tossed from a game. I can't remember. It was the Seattle Storm, I think. It was right before she got hip checked by Kennedy Carter, where she was about to be tossed from the game because she got earlier on in the game. I think, did she get punched? I think she might have gotten punched earlier on in the game by Victoria Vivian. Yeah, she got punched by Vivian's, and then she was getting hacked the whole game. She got hit in the head a few times, and the referees weren't getting calls. And one time she caught a rebound and she got shoved out of bounds, and the referee didn't call a foul. And she's about to get teed up and tossed. And Christy Sides runs down and loses her shit at the referees. Make a video game-by-game prediction. Of course I'll be doing that. Of course. I'll be doing that live on streams as well. That'll be part of the live stream. Thank you for the $5, Douglas. Really appreciate that. But Sophie Cunningham is going to do stuff like that. Do we not remember what Sophie Cunningham did versus the Fever last year? I'm going to see if I can find the footage of it on Twitter. But there was a bit of a Fever Mercury brawl. I want to see what it was. But the Fever and the Mercury got into like a brawl last season. Okay, I can't find it. Just looking on Twitter. But yeah, here it is. Here is what happened last year. So this is, by the way, this is how many people got teed up in this scenario. So watch what happens here.
There's 12 teams.
Sophie Cunningham. So everyone's kind of in.
It's highly competitive.
Yeah. Nothing happens. So the Fever in a huddle.
These players.
Sophie Cunningham swings a blind elbow towards the huddle. Temi, is that Temi? Temi tries to fight Natasha Cloud. Well, Natasha Cloud, in fairness, Natasha Cloud does start a bit, but it starts by Sophie Cunningham throwing a blind elbow towards the Fever bench. And then Natasha Cloud did very little, and Temi's trying to kill her, and Sophie Cunningham immediately, walks away.
They huddled a little too close to each other in each other's neighborhood. Is the first thing.
Caitlin Clark walks away as well.
Just a little turf war.
But you just know, that a person that could, and again, she actually got away with it, which is the funniest thing. She got away. She didn't get teed up. Copper got teed up, Wheeler got teed up, and Temi got teed up. And she goes and starts that. And that's the thing when it comes to Sophie Cunningham. If you just look, even it was Sophie Cunningham and Copper, like they were teammates. They were genuinely teammates. But if you look at, there's a page called Women Hooping. There's literally this page. It's an old YouTube page. And half of the stuff they show is just like technical fouls. There's highlights. There's everything. But on this page, half of their big posts, I'm not joking when I say this, is just about brawls. There are so many Sophie Cunningham brawls on this page. Like, Sophie Cunningham literally starts constant fights on the floor. And that's what, like, the team has needed an enforcer. Sophie Cunningham is an enforcer. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone thinks. Like, Sophie Cunningham, it doesn't really matter. Sophie Cunningham and rookie Emily Engsler. This is Sophie Cunningham as the Fever. What did Sophie Cunningham do? And most of the time, Sophie Cunningham's going to be in the wrong. What did she do to Engsler? What did she do? That's nothing. That is nothing right there. But that's the thing. She's like, that is absolutely nothing, but no one's going to mess with Sophie Cunningham. And that's one of the important things for the Fever, is that when she's on the floor, nobody is going to mess with Sophie Cunningham. And like, again, she's gotten into it with some of the tougher players in the league. Like her getting into it with Kat Copper for an entire WNBA finals. Like, the two of them got into it. Ooh. And she's not somebody that you're going to want to play against. And that's the thing when it came to the Fever. The Fever were too nice last year. Like, there was no one on the Fever that you did not want, as a fan, you did not want your team to play against. And when it came to playing against other teams. Like, if you were the Fever, you never wanted to play against, like, the Sun, because you don't know what Alyssa Thomas is going to do. You never really wanted to play against the Storm, like, just because of their old vets on the team, because they were physical, they were tough. And now, like, the Fever have a player that other teams don't want to play against. For better or for worse. Like, Sophie Cunningham, again, she's, like, on that line between, like, ultra hyped and enforcer and being a dirty player. She kind of toes that line. Quite a lot of time she's over that line. Like, quite a lot of time. I don't think she's quite Alyssa Thomas level of dirty player, but, like, she's there or thereabouts. She's not Liz Cambridge level of dirty player, but she's not that far off. Gut feeling is Sophie Cunningham will be getting payback, and all the people took cheap shots in Caitlin Clark last year. I can see it. I can see that. Like, that's the thing with Sophie Cunningham, is she's not going to let anyone mess with her. She's not going to let anyone mess with her teammates. And I think it's something that the Fever have always needed. And I don't think a lot of, like, people, obviously, we knew they needed it last year, but the options that people were given were crazy. Like, do you guys not remember when people were talking about bringing Angel McCaughtry back to the WNBA? They were talking about bringing Angel McCaughtry back. They were talking about trying to convince Liz Cambridge to come back to the WNBA. I'm sorry. If you're Liz can't, like, I don't know. I don't think that doing what they did was the answer. But I also strongly do not believe that Liz Cambridge is ever the answer. Not only was she not the answer, she's never the answer. But now you've got Sophie. You got Natasha Howard, who's not an enforcer, but no one's messing with Natasha Howard. In fairness, no one's messing with Aaliyah Boston either. Aaliyah Boston's that strong. And now it's like, Caitlin's going to have to be guarded because of the team they have by smaller players, because they can no longer put their point guards on Katie Lou Samuelson, or their point guards on Lexi Holt, the starting lineup. So she's going to have to come, like, she's going to be guarded by smaller players, so she's not going to be physically getting bullied this year. But it's a big one. It is a big one. And Sophie Cunningham is such a perfect player, because when you cannot mess with the Fever, they becomes infinitely harder to beat. As well as that, when you've got somebody who's a wind-up artist, so that they can see where the game's going. If the other teams are beating them, that they can try getting ahead of the other team's best player, which the Fever did not. Whatever about the Fever having, like, Temi, who could defend Caitlin, and Leah Boston, they didn't have someone who could get in the head of the other team's players, and it helps. It helps having an Alyssa Thomas. It helps having a Draymond. As much as sometimes you don't like them, like, maybe not modern Draymond, but it helps having those type of players. It really does in a team.